don't want beef, bitch. Gone mad off a cannabis.
Not much a cuppa can't make feel better about.
Fix. I don't know. Cuppa can't bring back mum. So this video, we're talking about energy levels and the exhaustion that you feel after loss. Like all of our videos we've mentioned before, you're kind of coming along this journey with us. So we are specifically talking about the exhaustion at the time of death, as soon as it happened. That phase of exhaustion and tiredness is like no other. That's what this video is homing in on. It's talking about that, whether it's for grievers to relate to, but to be honest, I think it's mostly for the people who are around grievers to understand the level of exhaustion and fatigue and tiredness that person is experiencing. As people who are obviously still grieving, we still feel levels of exhaustion and tiredness, but the level at that point, that is what we're talking about in this video. So just to be really clear, this is initially after loss and the way your body is functioning at that time. Just want to preface that.
We did actually record this video a couple of months ago, and annoyingly we've lost the footage. It's the one video we've lost the footage to, and it's really frustrating because we, like Fliss has just said, we're still feeling the exhaustion of grief, but nothing like we were even a couple of months ago. And then as well, it was a lot easier to remember what it was like a couple of months before that. So yeah, it's just really frustrating that we've lost that because there's already been a shift there. But yeah. What
we're trying to say is this video, we're doing our best to recall what it was like during that time period. In the last one that we filmed, it was still so present. So we were still in it, and it was easier to talk about because you could remember everything. And even just having that small amount of time pass, I'm already like, I can't fully remember quite how little my body could function. I can't quite fully get it the way I could explain it before. It's already slightly more hazy. We've broken this video down into 2 sections, so that's what we're going to focus on today because it's just the easiest way our brains can wrap our head around how it felt at the time from what we can recall now. So I will just start by saying that as soon as you find out about that loss of that significant person, your body simultaneously shuts down and fights for its life. And you can feel it. You can feel it as well because it's almost like there's 2 people inside of your head. There's one that's almost dying to come out and cry and acknowledge what's happened, and there's one that's like, nope. And that is exhausting because you're literally like, what the hell is going on? And you think you're actually mental. You think you're crazy. It feels like an out-of-body experience for quite some time. When people say, oh, it feels like I'm in a dream, that hasn't necessarily changed now, but during that time, it's to an extreme. Like you genuinely feel like you're in this bubble around you and your ears are ringing and everything is muffled and you're quite literally waiting to wake up. It is a very different level of feeling like you're not present. And with that alone comes the extreme exhaustion. Your body, when you've experienced trauma, which sudden loss is, your body actually does physically, the amount of research I've done is crazy and I will go into it, but your body physically does shut down. It cannot produce certain things that are not key to keeping you alive. So everything that does keep you alive, your body works to maintain that.
Like as vital organs.
Yeah, as opposed to things like your hair. So along with the exhaustion, you're losing things that will physically tell you how, yes, trauma, but also exhaustion. Your body cannot keep doing all of these things for you that are not key.
They're not necessary.
No, they're not necessary. So hair loss, skin issues, weight gain, weight loss, because your body is not working the same because it's gone into shock. It's gone into complete shock, and that is why, again, I'll go into it. For example, things like hair loss goes into shock, you lose certain things you need, you lose your hair, being an example. So your body physically is already exhausted because it's clocked the trauma, it's clocked the stress and exhaustion, and it's gone, okay, this is the things I need to do, and it's working double time for you to literally survive. It thinks that because of the shock, it's gone into survival mode. So your body is already physically absolutely and completely exhausted. Doing mundane things are so hard, and you can't really figure out why. Your body's doing its own thing.
So because of all of that, you literally cannot think. Like, you can't think straight because you don't know, like, you're just in such a haze and nothing is working, so you do really stupid things without thought, or you'll literally do things that's like, I don't think I should do this, and then you do it anyway because you're like, meh. I was like cutting an avocado. This was like a couple of months after Mum And like my brain just wasn't working. I remember telling my brain, don't cut the avocado like that, you idiot. And I thought, nothing will happen. Cut an avocado, didn't I? And we're in operation like later now. Your brain doesn't think straight. So there's just a constant knock-on effect. You make yourself more exhausted because you do stupid things like that, or your brain is just like in overdrive, and then because of that you're just pushing down all of your emotions to try and survive. But then because you're bottling up those emotions, you're more exhausted because you know subconsciously that there's so much that you need to like attack.
It comes back to those two people that we mentioned at the beginning, and it's like your brain is trying to process what's just happened, and it's like fighting to come to the surface, and your body, on the other hand, is pushing it down and being like, no, because we have to get through the day.
We have to live.
So you can't do that right now. We have to do this.
But then with that as well, you have those flickers of like acknowledging how you're feeling, so therefore crying or being like hysterical.
Yeah, when it does finally come up to the top.
Yeah, so then
it's like two people.
Literally a yo-yo, isn't it? But then when that happens, it's so all-consuming that then you're exhausted for acknowledging those feelings and for crying and for screaming and for feeling. So like you're either exhausted because you're suppressing everything, or you're exhausted because you're acknowledging everything.
I think it's, for me as well, in the initial days, although other things happened in that time, I do remember the week after I couldn't move. Okay, it still felt like two people, but I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't. How people say like I physically couldn't get out of bed and go and brush my teeth, it's real. I couldn't get out of bed, even if I wanted to. Even I'd really try, and I'd be like, get up, because lying here isn't going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. But the other version of your brain is saying, what is the point?
Mm-hmm.
What is the point of you getting up? Mm-hmm. Getting up isn't going to change anything either. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. Mm-hmm. What's the fucking point of brushing your teeth? What's the point in washing? And then when you do finally drag your ass out of bed and you get in the shower, it's so hard to function, because yes, your brain's not thinking straight, and that's one thing, but because of that, your body physically cannot function. Like I physically remember trying to wash and it being so hard. It was so hard. It was so heavy. Like my whole body was so heavy. Like where I was, it was a bath shower, and I fully vividly remember trying to step into the bath, and it was so hard. I had to like fucking lift my leg up over the bath.
It is mental, but and also what you're saying with like showering and stuff, the lack of self-care then feeds into it, because you're not looking after yourself to enable yourself to function, to carry. You're not feeding yourself, you're not washing yourself, which obviously isn't helping yourself. But it's just so uncontrollable. I honestly, even thinking back to that time, I can barely speak about it, because it's actually so like tiring, messed up.
Yeah,
just like
and holding a conversation with someone, and it's like it's literally like that. It's like, even if you're up for it and you try, and you get this little burst of like, I'm going to call a sister or a friend, and you're like, okay, call them, and then it's like that sound effect where it goes, and the battery like turns off, and it literally happens in your brain, and it just goes, and they'll be talking, and you'll be like,
it's just unlike any other emotion or like feeling I've ever had. Like we've grieved before, like as well, but like this level of grief is just so unbearable. It was unbearable, and the physical heaviness, your heart physically hurting,
you really are,
your hair literally falling out into your hands, your, like you said, rashes all over your body, spots all over your face, literally it's fluctuating in weight like week to week. Like one week I was eating like a horse, the next week I literally was vomiting at the sight of a grape. Like
battery's gonna die.
Good. How long does that take?
A minute.
Oh. Cheers.
So as you'll know, the camera's dead down. We've got a new battery in it. So we've done the physical, mental exhaustion, and then it also comes right into the actual sleep. Yeah. We had really different experiences of this in the initial stages because of where we were in our situations, blah, 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 blah. Fucking hell, sleep, man. It's not possible. It's just not possible. It's one of those things where it's like, because of everything we've just discussed, your body, what it needs the most is just sleep. and rest, and it needs to just have a minute to be able to recoup and figure out what the fuck is going on with itself.
Yeah.
Which when you're asleep, it realises, you know, it's okay and it's safe. But
all you want to do, like with your brain, so actually I'm like, oh, I just want to go to sleep
and not wake up. Sorry.
Yeah.
That goes off track, but it is. You're so exhausted that you want sleep more than anything.
Yeah. But then for different reasons you can't.
You can't sleep. So for me, my experience of sleep initially was, yes, I needed it so badly. Like my whole face was puffy, my eyes were black, and I was literally like dragging myself around. I needed sleep. I really needed to sleep. I couldn't for days. I didn't for days and days. There was a couple of techniques that ended up working. The thing with me was I was so scared of falling asleep. I was so scared of falling asleep that I'd be so tired, and I'd get in bed and I'd just be terrified of it. The reason I was terrified of it was because I was so scared to wake up and have to relearn everything that had happened, and that's what scared me the most. Like if I just stayed awake, it stayed true, it stayed real, or when I was awake, I was waiting to wake up. Might not make any sense. But for me, yeah, I was just terrified of falling asleep, because I was just like, if I fall asleep, I have to go through it all again. I have to wake up and remember what's happened and tell myself that that's my life now, and that scared me.
Which I would say we still do. Like I still wake up often and have to be like, oh my God, like retell yourself. But again, in those first few days,
it's different,
and weeks, it's
different.
So scary.
Because like you say, every day I wake up and I'm like, oh fuck, I still have that.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, you have all the chaos, and it's still not real, but it is different. It is different. It's a totally different level of not real. It's like you're being told every morning. It's like you're remembering exactly how you found out every morning, again and again and again, and it's terrifying. Another reason I couldn't sleep or didn't want to was the guilt, which we've done a whole video on guilt, but I did feel very guilty for sleeping, for being able to sleep, which I couldn't really. But you do feel a lot of guilt for like taking yourself to bed. Like, why are you sleeping? Why, as much as I wanted to escape my reality, why are you escaping your reality? There's so much guilt for just going to bed. Like, this is so stupid. What am I going to bed for? Like, my whole life has changed. What's the point of going to sleep? So you're battling with that. You're literally head on your pillow and you're like, I don't want to sleep because I feel guilt for it. I'm scared about it. I don't want it. Another thing that was true for me, which I don't know how common this is, everyone will have a different experience, but in the early days, I was actually having dreams when I did eventually have some sleep. Mum was in all my dreams, and that made it worse, even though it was great to see her. It's lovely. Oh. I would wake up and she'd be gone.
The bit where you say about you having dreams about her makes me really emotional and jealous. Even though you didn't want that. You didn't want to see her necessarily.
I did want to see her. If she was in my dreams, I liked it. But, because it was so early on, okay? I don't have dreams about her in ages.
I haven't had a single dream about her. I'm really fucking furious about it.
I did want to see her, but it was so early on. So for the first week, I didn't sleep. For the second one is when I started to get some sleep, I guess because my body absolutely needed it and it couldn't fight it anymore. Then in came the fear. I was so scared of sleeping because I didn't want to wake up to the reality again. I felt guilty for it, but I didn't. It got to the point where, because she was in my dreams, I thought that was the reality. That was, oh my God.
When you were awake, that was the dream.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like when I was asleep and Mum was there, that was real life. And then when I woke up, I was asleep, which is really fucked when you think about it now, obviously. But I do also remember, like, when I did get sleep, it was a matter of hours. Like, I would be awake till 4 a.m. and then I'd wake up at about 6 a.m. So I'd get a couple of hours, which was good compared to nothing. But I would wake up super early and I'd be fighting to get back into sleep because Mum was there. Fuck off.
No, don't do that. You always tell me off for that. No, you can't cry, you know. And I'm like, I always fucking cry.
And I'm like,
and then every time you shed a tear, you're like, fuck off, I don't do this.
Yeah, it was like, don't wake up, you're awake. And you're relearning it. And it made the next night even worse because you remember how awful it is having to relearn it. And so it's just the next night you're like, please don't do that again. Don't want to have that again. I'm done. You're done.
Sorry, your turn. I was also really, really scared to go to sleep. But mine was for a different reason. I was having dreams. I was having really bad nightmares and flashbacks. Oof.
For context, Tilly was with Mum. I wasn't. So Tilly, on top of normal trauma of sudden loss, has a lot of other trauma she has to deal with. And that is still coming up in dreams. Well, they're not dreams, they're the nightmares, very often.
Yeah, but I remember in those really interesting days, the fear of sleep was wild. I was so scared. I was with Evie for most of it, and we would just sit up, you're right, we would just sit up until like 4 a.m. watching like telly, or I could not sleep alone. Like, I had to have someone next to me. And yeah, I was just waking up throughout the nights, like,
in sweats.
Yeah. So yeah, then you're scared to go to sleep, so you don't ever sleep. Then when you eventually get to sleep, you're woken up by that. And then, yeah, so knock-on effects of the exhaustion again. And also you wake up and you're just exhausted of feeling fucked up. Like, I felt so messed up.
Yeah, it's so confusing. It's such
so
a confusing, wild time.
Yeah.
For so many reasons that we're really trying our best to cover in all of these videos. We're truly trying to tick off everything. Like, just not long before this video, we filmed one about guilt after grief. So sorry, my phone is ringing. What's my point?
I don't know.
It's really hard because we're trying to break down all the different points of grief and loss and trauma are immediately after loss.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to even do that when so much of that time was exhaustion and everything interlinks.
Such a blur, isn't it?
We're speaking about guilt after loss, and there's guilt tied into the sleep, there's guilt tied into the exhaustion, there's guilt in the fact that I can't talk to my friends because I'm so fucking exhausted, I'm so tired, I can't talk to you, I can't physically reply to your message, I can't look at my phone, it hurts my eyes, it hurts my heart, I can't fucking do it. And then with that, oh my god, with that comes the fucking guilt.
Yeah.
Of not being able to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah. What is crazy, I can literally feel I'm sure like people watching can probably also just feel how exhausting it is talking about how exhausted you were, because casting your mind back to try and remember that emotion and that whole, like, the way it just filled your body from literally head to toe is so crazy.
Even on top of that comes more issues because people, again, in some senses it's good to have someone to be like, do you know what, I'm dragging your ass out of bed today and we're going to wash you, bitch. We're going to wash you, you smelly bitch. And they will get you in the shower and they'll go, you know what, we're getting some fresh air, we're going on a walk. And as on the same level of thinking that's a great approach sometimes, there's also the, I hear you and I feel you and I get you. And do you know what, I actually agree with you, but I can't. Mm-hmm. I can't. I physically can't. It's not a lie. Mm-hmm. It's not a lie. It's not dramatics. It's not just in American movies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I guess if you're trying to support somebody immediately after, it's, again, we've done so many areas and videos and topics. There's a lot, and we get it, and it's overwhelming. And you don't get it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't, and you're a lucky one. But we're here to just sort of maybe give it some advice of just, again, patience with those people. Like, the level of exhaustion they are feeling is unfathomable. I'm not exaggerating, it really is. So there's that for you who don't get it. There's a little piece, and there's the people who are going through it, and we're to tell you that I think it is quite normal.
I think, yeah.
It's just knowledge, it's just knowing and hoping that on either side of the table, whether you're a griever or not, it's giving some form of understanding as to what that is like. That segment of it is just really tiring.
Because I did not have a clue. Like, I've had multiple friends lose parents, actually, and this I would just never have understood, been able to comprehend this aspect of it. Like, I could probably, if I cast my own back, I was probably thinking, God, they must be not okay, and like really sad and really tired and not really being able to sleep well.
You don't get it.
Yeah, it is actually crazy. Like I said, I can barely speak about it. Like, I can't.
And we get it. Like, where you're saying that's happened to your friends, we get it. If you're not a griever, we have been the non-grievers, and we get that you don't get it. We're just trying to give you some form of context as to what it's like. I never had someone sit and tell me, no, this is what they're going to be feeling. This is why they don't have time for you, bitch. This is why they like, you know, you just don't know until you know it. And if you don't know, you're lucky. If you do know, we're sorry that you have to go through all of it. But we get it both. We get it both sides. We get it both sides. And if you're a griever, that they're trying to understand, they won't get the full extent of it. But other grievers do. They do. I got makeup on my tongue.
No. I have as well.
Do you know what? Something we haven't been doing and saying after these videos is, firstly, like and subscribe. If this has been helpful genuinely for you, or you've just enjoyed it as a watch or a listen or whatever, if you subscribe and like it or dislike it or comment or ask us questions, like, it helps us reach more people, more grievers, and more people that want to understand what grievers are going through. So there's that, firstly, like and subscribe. And also,
if you have any questions,
anything
ask
you want to know.
We want to discuss things. This is for anyone watching.
Yeah, and we don't know what people
we don't know
what do you want to know.
We're just sort of sharing our story and sharing bits of it because I wish I knew a bit more about exhaustion alone and how exhausted my friends will have been previously when they've experienced this. I had no idea. So ask us questions if you have any. If you have stories that you're willing or wanting to share, whether that's privately or just in the comments, please do.
We will also be doing over on our Instagram, which is fliss_tilly, questions and answers and quick fire things, and our inbox is of course open. It's a good platform to be able to sort of ask us things, and we can delve into that and make videos of all the things that you want to know or you've experienced. We want to do story times, whether that's ours or other people's. We want some dilemmas of what you've experienced going through loss and grief, how to deal with something, whether that's a friendship, another family member, people not understanding, not knowing how to approach questions that are very annoying to be asked, or comments without wanting to punch someone in the face. Let us know, honey.
Let us know.
Alright.
I feel like it's time for bed.
Yeah. I am very, very tired. Should we get outside? We haven't seen the light today today.
Yeah. We're going to go on a walk.
Hope it was helpful.
It's tiring.